Hey Bart, how are you?
How are you doing today?
Yeah, good. Yourself? Good to see you again.
Yeah. So it's 1 a.m., right?
Yeah, that's about it. I'm usually up till about 2 a.m. on the weekends anyway, so it's not a big deal at all. I was getting a bit tired, but as soon as I knew this was coming up, it woke me up again, so it's all good. What time is it over there anyway?
It's 7 p.m.
Oh, yeah, cool. That's right. What times do you prefer to work?
So I
You get up early in the morning, don't you?
yeah. So I mostly work in the morning, and I wake up at about 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Right?
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's the same as Eddie, I think. Hey, Eddie, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
How are you doing
Yeah,
today, Eddie?
good to see you.
Good. Still settling into our place, but all is good. Thank you.
Oh,
Don't
that's awesome.
mind my coffee mug. It's my daughter's. So.
It's a good coffee mug, but is it not a bit late to be drinking coffee?
Yeah, but I'm up geeking out, so it's all good.
Crazy. Well, what time is it for you both?
Don't know if you want to know my actual time, but it's 1 a.m.
Oh, you're 4 hours ahead of me still. So, and Bilal, you must be maybe like 7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m. Right.
Okay. Wow, I didn't realize Dean was like still so many hours ahead. I thought it was all the way around.
Okay.
I
Because
imagined so.
I was in Perth for a little while there, so
Okay.
that's probably what went on. Because I know we're about 3 hours ahead in Melbourne to Perth, but my body clock hasn't adjusted back properly anyway. So, and given that I'm working with a mostly American team now, it's kind of helpful to be up late at night too.
Yeah, time zones are fun.
Yeah.
So it means I will be also be working on the American time if I got a job there, right?
Yeah. Well, I used to work night shift anyway, so and I really liked that. That suited me well.
That's cool. Night shift is hard though.
Well, it wasn't for me. Maybe mileage may vary a bit.
So we have another guest,
Bart.
Bart.
Sorry, 1 second. Oh, there we go. What's up, everybody?
Hey, how are
How you
you?
guys doing?
Good.
See ya.
Good. Eddie,
Wait a
nice to
second.
see you for the first time. Super stoked.
Yeah, nice to see you as well, Bart. It's the
Yeah.
first time I think I chat with Bilal as well. I think I've been on a few calls with Dean before. And Bart, are you all the way in the US? So is it morning for you?
No. I'm based in Spain. My wife's from here, and then but since I'm from the US, I go back and also for work, and then I'm going to London next week. Where are you, Eddie?
I was in London last week, so unfortunately we miss each other. I'm now in Bangkok.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, we're in Thailand for the next 6 months. Whereabouts in Spain are you?
The Basque Country in the north, Bilbao. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Because we drive to Portugal. And
Yeah.
so we go to Santander, through Santander to Portugal.
Yeah, I know. I saw we talked a little bit about that once on Twitter because of Courtney, who also lives in the Basque Country. So yeah,
Yes.
we'll meet
Yeah.
anyway. Plenty of time, plenty of chances to meet. for sure.
Well, we're there all autumn. So I think from October to January. So we'll sort something out.
Fantastic, great.
Cool.
All right. So
Um,
so could you just introduce yourself? Just short intro for half an hour. And that's yeah.
So are we going to go around? Everyone does a little bit.
Yeah. So start from Eddie.
Okay, no pressure. Well, you probably all know me. I do DevRel as a service. I focus specifically on open source. We've made some very small exceptions for some clients, but 99% of the time it's open source. I started doing that seriously last April 2021. Sorry, so April before last. And now my team we're 3 people strong. Yeah, love what we're doing, and I got open source project Linkfree that is doing super well. I'm so happy, and I can't thank the community, just everyone who's getting involved. Some a little, some a lot. Bilal and Dean, and I think Bart, you did a live stream on it as well. Did you live stream on it as well? I can't remember.
But I need to, and don't worry, taking notes. There'll be definitely something we
Okay.
can build around this.
So
Yeah.
just I'm super so happy that people are doing that, and I'm hoping to do more pairing sessions like this, but actual coding on Discord and stuff. So that's me, but I'm an open book, and I could talk for ages. So I leave it there, keep it short. But any questions, I'm completely open and transparent, and I will do my best to answer any questions if people have any. But I'm just super excited to be here and actually kind of be on a call with you. It's cool. It's very different to like just typing on Twitter and so forth. So thank you, Bilal, for organizing this.
Yeah. So the next number is Dean.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Well, it's going to be hard to know the order because I bet all our orders look
so
different.
My order is this one. Like what I'm seeing is this, like this.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'm Dean anyway. I'm a DevOps engineer and I work for a company called Operu. We're owned by a larger American company called School Status. And I primarily work with the tech stack that is made up of AWS, the Ruby programming language, Ruby on Rails, Terraform, and PostgreSQL as well. I'm also an ambassador for Eddie Hub. Thanks to Eddie for that. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I thought I might have been a little bit out of place, but yeah, it's been awesome to be part of that community too. Yeah,
awesome. Thank you.
That's it for me for now. Like Eddie, I could go on forever too.
So Bart, your number.
Yeah, and they're keeping it short. This is I'll try to keep it short. I'm Bart, as explained, from the US, and I live in Spain. I'm the least technical person on this call, which is good, and it's not uncommon. I had started a YouTube channel about doing really silly things in English, and then also, because I was an English teacher, and then moved to creating content about my experience living here in the north of Spain. And so I learned a lot about that, building audiences, things like that. And then, 4.5 years ago, started working as a freelancer. Have no intention of changing. Really, really like what I get to do. Yeah. It's 2.5 years ago, I got the opportunity. So as a freelancer, content creation, videos for all different kinds of things, and then event organization. Then 2.5 years ago, started leading the Data on Kubernetes community. And that's been my primary project, but have been able now to get into other projects, which is a lot of fun. And as someone who's a total beginner, I've always been very committed to working with beginners and just absolutely love the work that I get to do with young people. To be totally transparent, and Bilal may know this or not, but I want to make that like a block of what I do, and now gaining some different ideas about how to organize that better. I've already realized I've gone on for too long, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I totally don't do community stuff during work hours.
Yeah. So anyway, and like bringing creative stuff to it as well, art, music, all that sort of stuff. I think that the more we can have fun, the easier learning becomes. So big believer in that. And now I will be quiet.
So you better introduce yourself, Bart. So do you have any questions to ask Eddie? Because I have 2 questions to ask.
I have 3 for you, all of you. They're short, I promise, Bilal. One is, Bilal, you need to give yourself an intro. You can do yours first. And then after that, we take a screenshot so I can tag you all on Twitter and say, forget at the end. And I don't know what the third was, I already forgot. So, Bilal, over to you.
All right, so my name is Bilal. I started my journey as a content creator on YouTube. So basically, I just wanted to make the videos related to DevOps and all the projects that I'm working on. So my journey started as a content creator because I wanted to learn myself, not to teach others, because that was at first not my motivation to do these things. I wanted to learn these things at first, and then I moved to creating the content seriously. So I'm writing blogs on Hashnode also, and I'm creating videos on YouTube. And currently I am enrolled in the Bart DoK Community Explorers program. So this is my short journey if you want to know about it.
That's awesome. I need to. There's so many great things that would be mentioned. I need to learn more about it and about the Bart community and. Dean, thank you so much for the shout out about the ambassadors. I can't wait to get that rolling. I think next Saturday we've got our kickoff call, so I can't wait to really get that ramping that up. And Bart, we should have a chat, and everyone's welcome to join. about what you said about doing the community stuff, but doing it kind of more full time and trying to get paid from it. That's something that we're trying to do more of as well. Some things are working, some things are not, but maybe we could just bounce ideas and
I love it. Absolutely love
I think that'd be a really good call to have, and maybe we can have it as kind of in Discord, but like public so others can listen or something like that. So yeah,
that sounds good.
Oh, screenshot before I forget. Okay, right, everyone do mine, is it okay?
I don't have any.
Do our beards. Okay. I think these are the key combinations. I forget. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, let me check it.
Lovely.
I like the drumsticks. That was a nice touch.
Oh no, we need to do it one more time because apologies, my mouse was on Bart. The pin and the icons over his face, but it was a really good pose. So wait, let me move my mouse.
That happens. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Check it now.
So I have taken them also. If you want
Lazarick from Metallica or something.
When he had hair.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked well. Cool. I can use that on Twitter and tag you all.
Nice.
So Bilal, you had some questions.
Yeah, so I have two questions in my mind. The first one is that, so I have heard from many people that you should contribute to the independent project or whether you should contribute to the company's project. So that's the point that that is surrounding, going on in my mind, that what should I prefer to get a job as a beginner? Because there are a lot of projects that are present on GitHub. So as a beginner, what should I prefer as a jobless person? So yeah. As a company project should be involved, or independent project like Docker, Kubernetes, or Linktree. If I'm not aware of this, currently the Dean is also working on a project like Linux for Pirates, so I'm also contributing to it. So these are the independent projects, but some of the projects are relevant to the companies like Upbound and Charm. So these are the projects that are relevant to the company. So what should I prefer?
Yeah, I've got some really strong thoughts on this, and I'd love to hear other people's thoughts as well. I think it's a great question because we've only got so much time that we can do to open source. Everyone's is different, but say you've got, I don't know, 4 hours a week for simplicity reasons. I would say try and split it roughly half, because I think different projects are going to move at different speed. So I actually would group Docker, Kubernetes, Charm, those ones all together, and things like Linktree, Dean's project, etc., as in a separate one, because those community ones that are community only will go a lot faster. Fast is actually really subjective. By faster, I mean you're going to get feedback quicker and faster from your perspective. The project might move slower. Obviously, Kubernetes with its thousands of contributors is going to overall move fast, but you're not going to be involved in most of it. So I would say do both, because you'll learn different skills. And another thing that you probably really want to do is try and become a maintainer in the near future. Projects like Kubernetes or Charm, you're probably not going to become a maintainer for 6 months, a year plus. Whereas on the smaller community projects, you could. And the reason why becoming a maintainer is so important is because you'll just learn so much by being on the kind of the flip side, like when you're looking at pull requests and issues coming in. The amount of times I've seen it, and I've done it myself, someone tries to raise a good pull request. By good, I'm not talking about the code. I'm talking about the title, the description, what the amount of changes it includes and so forth, big or small, and raise an issue. But when you become a maintainer, you look at it and you go, this is something I would do, but it doesn't make sense because I wasn't there. It wasn't my thought and so forth. So it really kind of improves the way you do things. So I would say, yeah, try and split it across 2 or 3 different ways. By Charm, do you mean the CLI tool?
Yes.
Yes, I had what's her name?
Bash Bunny
now. Bash Bunny on my live stream. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the first time I saw Charm. It's like really interesting projects.
Yeah. So
I haven't seen it yet, so I'll have to check it out.
I was super impressed. Sorry, Bilal.
I will share the link with you if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I would say first have a look at their one of their fun projects that they consider to be a bit of like almost like a community project called VHS. Oh my god, my mind, like seriously, it was epic. It was like recording your terminal as a video, but it's not a video. It's actually still like I don't know. I can't remember. It was just mind blown, like really mind blown.
Was it ASCII replay or something? Is something I used to use, and it recorded a GIF, and you could basically share it online, and that was a good way to share your terminal.
Yes, the additional this one had is you could make changes to it, and it would re-give you a GIF afterwards.
Nice.
Like it was unbelievable. Like it was.
I got to check it out.
Yeah.
So the next question is this: I'm applying for different CFPs currently. Previous month I have applied for 5 CFPs, and what should be the description of the CFPs? Because the topic that I have applied for the CFP is the 60 days DevOps series that I've recently completed. So if I show you my screen, so so can you see here right now?
It's loading for me. Oh yeah, it's appeared.
Yeah. So these are my CFPs that I have submitted for Cube Hurdle and DevOps Days in Birmingham. So let me just open it for you so that I can show you. Yeah, 60 days DevOps series. Yeah. So this is the description that I have written. It's a long description, but I was not aware of what should I write or what should be the limit of the description that should I write. I explained every step, like what should be the topic, like what is DevOps, version control, understanding network, operating system. So I mentioned all of them one by one in multiple paragraphs, as you can see here, like this one, this one. So these are all the details that I have written. So it took me 2 days, but I was not aware that what should be the limit of the description, that what should be the criteria, or how should I write these CFPs in order to be qualified for it. Yeah. So this is my question, and especially if you guide me like Eddie and Bart also, because he is also involved in these communities and CFPs. So I just want to take guidance from you. Yeah.
Bart, you go first. Go ahead. I spoke in the last.
Yeah, it's all good. This is a tricky thing. Luckily, there are resources for this, and so one of them, I'll drop this here in the chat. That's a great video that was given in KubeCon, or a talk that was given in KubeCon by Kathleen Fields, who's awesome. So massive shout out to Kathleen. She is now running the Kubernetes podcast for Google, and she gave this talk about how to write a good CFP, and she did it, I believe, for the I believe it was in the students track, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, she explains it very well. And in order to get to, a big thing about any kind of CFP, if there are previous editions of this event, look and see what other talks have been submitted. So you get an idea, like, okay, they're kind of tackling these issues, things like that. You can also ask, for KCDs, you can ask the KCD organizers, what kind of topics are you ideally trying to get in there? Depending on the event, they're going to be focused on certain kinds of trends. Some might be more security focused or software supply chain. Others might be more related to observability. So based on that, you want to make sure, like when we've had CFPs for, Data on Kubernetes days, some people just throw in like a generic topic that's Kubernetes related, but doesn't relate to our stack. And so the thing is, if they just ask me, I would say like, well, if you talk about these topics, it's going to increase the chances of it getting accepted. In your case, Bilal, you're not going to suffer from the problem of it being vendor neutral. That's always really important. If it just feels like it's a product pitch, then some events it might work, but generally, very heavy enterprise sponsored stuff like that. So like I said, that's not going to be your issue. Where it could be is that if it's focused, like I said, on, DevOps, yes, it does relate to Kubernetes, but if they're really going for Kubernetes talks, they want to hear Kubernetes content. I would flip it back over to you, Bilal, because with all the stuff that you're doing, I think what could be interesting is that if you host your own event and tell people that based on your, DevOps journey, to encourage people to talk about those topics using your resources, then they submit a CFP and you can decide how well it matches up with that content. I think you're more than ready to do an online event like that. So anyway, yeah.
Truth be told, I've used Bilal's resources to learn stuff, and I'm considered pretty senior as a DevOps engineer. That's actually my job.
So you've got your first speaker right there.
Nice. I think that's such a great answer. I learned a lot from that as well. So thank you, because I submit CFPs, I get some, I don't get some. So it's always interesting to know. Yes, it does a lot depend on the other person on the other end. Yeah, I think it's a great answer. So I'm just trying to digest it. But in my thoughts, I think you've got too much information there, in my opinion, from the CFPs that I've submitted. I think the response to the reaction on the person on the other side is going to be, oh my god, I've got to read all this, because if you think they've got maybe 500 submissions, so you need to keep it shorter. And two, how they might think, how is this person going to fit all this into a 30-minute talk? Is the other thing they might think. So I think, go ahead, Bart.
I completely agree. That's the thing too. Time limits on talks. Always keep that in mind. If they're asking for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then you tailor it to that, because if they like, I agree. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, I think that's really important. So they might think, oh, this person is just. I think what people do with CFPs, from the ones that I've reviewed, it hasn't been loads, but the ones I have, there are two types of people. One who submit like 3 words. I'll talk about Kubernetes, which is just a no straight away. And then the other people like yourself, there are less of you, but this is what you do, who submit an entire like essay, and it's just too much. And if I've got time, then great, I'll go through it because that's valuable. But if I'm really short on time, if the organizer or my time's like, I've got an hour, I need to review 30, and I've got 2 minutes to look at yours, and I'm going to look at your first couple of paragraphs, I have to make a decision off that. And your better stuff might be lower down, but I haven't got to that. So so what I would suggest is just do an abstract. So do something like 1 paragraph or 2 paragraph about what you're going to cover and the takeaways that people will take with. You definitely don't make it a sales pitch. I don't think you'll have that issue because you're not associated to a company. It's usually those types of people that you need to check. It's not a sales pitch. But I think you've done lots of amazing work. I think you've probably overworked it, unfortunately, which will work against you, I think. But I think it's amazing to see that. I mean, I got to tell Sarah, Bilal submitted a CFP. She'll be so happy. I'll tell you why in a second. But he submitted 2 pages of what it's about. And even Sarah's face is amazing, because usually when we get CFPs or we get people applying to the ambassador program, it's 3 words. I want to talk, or I want to join, or I want, and it's or a dot. Sarah says we even just putting a dot and nothing else. So she loves to read. So for her, that's amazing. So she's really happy. But yeah, maybe it's too much, I think. If you really want to include it, maybe do, the TLDR. So this is the abstract. And they say, if you want more details, here's the full amount. I still wouldn't recommend doing it, but if you really feel that's you feel more authentic, more passionate about it, whatever it is, I would try and break it into a TLDR and then the full bit later on.
All right. So so my questions are covered. If any one of you want to.
Well, yeah, one more thing I would add. One more thing I would add with what Eddie said is that so Eddie, one of the things we've been doing in the DoK Explorers program is teaching people how to write posts, like a good tweet or a good LinkedIn post. And, the attention economy is extremely competitive. And just with a CFP, when you're doing all these things, and so make it easy for the person, empathy, right? Empathy ops, shout out to Marina for that. And with that in mind is got to get to the point really quickly. The keywords need to be there. And so what we've been talking about, I've taught marketing in the past. And so this, acronym AIDA, AIDA, of attention, interest, desire, action. So there's got to be something that's going to catch their attention, whether it's a pain point, a problem, something that people are having a challenge with, and then how you're going to help them solve that by sharing your experience. Once again, everybody gets to decide how they're going to do that. But in the first, just like a video, right? If a video doesn't catch your attention in the first 2-3 seconds, you're going to the next thing. There are hundreds of videos out there. And also in general, when we see a video is really long, we're ooh, that's a big ask in the attention economy. I'm going to be giving you a lot. So same thing with a CFP. Let those lines breathe a little bit, but make it very, very clear very quickly what you're the problem, the pain point that you're tackling. And then so they're going to think, why would I not want to have this in my event? And so it's tough. It's kind of an art and a science, but I think with some practice it'll improve quite quickly. And I agree with Eddie that it's an amazing that you put all that there. I think that's more, for a website or explaining, the initiative. There's a lot that can be unpacked from there. Or once again, like I said, I hope you organize your own event based on the structure you created there. Encourage people to take each one of those topics. Yeah.
Yeah, or to create a course from that one day.
Series, exactly.
It's brilliant. You've done a lot of effort, which is so refreshing to see, because most people don't. Even me included. I have to get Sarah to help me, because she looks at my stuff and she goes, Eddie, that's too short. We need to tell me more about it. So what you've done it's a real skill. So well done, but it might not be appreciated when people are really short on time. Attention economy, Bart, is brilliant. I think that's a really interesting thing.
So Dean, do you want to say something about it, or?
I've never actually done a CFP before. Given that I work full time, I actually didn't even know what one was until you brought it up the other week. It's not something I've ever heard of, or it hasn't ever even crossed my path.
All right. So another questions from Eddie that he wanted to ask. So.
Oh, you mean my third question? Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Actually, question for Bart and maybe Bilal. I don't know if Dean you know, but tell us more about your community, your DoK, because it's been mentioned a few times by a few people.
Yeah.
And I'll just
So since Kubernetes was originally designed for stateless workloads, the idea of data has been very much an afterthought. And so in the beginning, everything done statelessly. Over time, it was in 2015, 2016. First they were called pet sets, and then they changed the word to stateful sets. And since then, it's become, seeing that there are opportunities, things that can be gained by running stateful workloads on Kubernetes, whether it's cost optimization, security, the convergence of having everything in the same place. And so in 2020, there were a couple organizations that got together and they said, hey, why don't we create a vendor neutral space where practitioners can come and share their experiences. And so that was in July of 2020, and I got involved in August of 2020. A friend of mine had started the community. He wasn't going to be able to continue with it, and he asked me, and once again, imposter syndrome, non-technical person, thinking, what am I doing? And here I am talking to all of you about it. So it's been a quite interesting journey. So we started with there were 120 people in Slack, YouTube, everywhere when I arrived. And now across all channels, we're about 17,000, 18,000, I believe, between Slack, Twitter, LinkedIn, and then anyway, lots and lots of content. We've done over 200 live streams. We've done 4 co-located events in KubeCon. We've done 2 research reports, which the current explorers are using as a starting point to understand the concepts, because it was overwhelming for me. I understand that if someone gets into our community and doesn't have that background, it's like, hey, let's make it slow. First things first, right? Going to give you the shortest possible thing, 15-page report, lots of pictures, percentages. So it's not going to take a long time. Building curiosity around how to ask questions, and because that's a lifeblood of the community, or conversations. And the best way to start conversations are with questions. And so it's been an incredible learning process. And so it was 2021 was when I realized that we need to get young people involved here. So we started doing internships. And now we've got a much better process about being realistic, setting small goals, going step by step, where the young folks that are involved. I've worked as a teacher, for the last, I don't know, I'm really old, so I can say 15 years in different capacities. And the best teaching the best learning environments is when the learners become the teachers. And because people start specializing a little bit in one area or another, and then they're able to respond to people's doubts and support each other, and it's mutual, it goes back and forth. And that addresses so many different needs that people are having, and it gives them the feeling that this is a good place for me where I'm going to progress. And architecting that and designing it is something that's happened with lots of trial and error. But yeah, so like I said, we have, our primary focus are, it's day 2 operations. So it's, people that are quite advanced in the ecosystem. But so we want to hear from large scale organizations, end users, once again, as much as possible, not from vendors. We have sponsors, but we always tell them, like, we want to focus on open source, and we want to focus on end user experiences, not just a product pitch. This is a learning community. And so so it's like I said, it's been the biggest project and the hardest project that I've ever done, but also the most rewarding by far. And it's what's led me to be able to connect with folks like you on a call on a Saturday that I probably shouldn't be doing, and my wife doesn't know I'm doing. She's at home and I'm in my office. But yeah, it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving.
And so you don't do it full time?
In the beginning, I was a one-person operation, which was very scary. And so very early on, I started bringing in other people that I've worked with on other projects. Shout out to our sort of my personal, not just in this project, but with everything else that I do. I wouldn't say assistant, I would say right hand or guardian who makes sure that everything's in order, because I'm quite chaotic and impulsive. But yeah, I've also done other projects for other companies, whether it's community consulting, whether it's hosting events, whether it's creating content in terms of videos. And I like doing things in that sense, more dynamic. Living in Spain, I also do stuff, locally with different tech companies here, and it's fun to do stuff in Spanish. Takes on a different vibe, so that's a fun thing to do as well. But yeah, I in the beginning, like I said, it consumed a lot of time. But and now we have a director, we have other people that are involved in the team, and so it gives me a clearer focus of what, and also a clearer focus on the stuff that I really like to do, and that there are other people that are really good at the things that I'm not good at, and so then everybody's focused on the things they do best.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That's really, really organized now, and so on. So yeah, that sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So.
And so, Bilal.
Yeah.
Sorry. Carry on.
Go on.
I was going to say. So, and you were saying when you brought up the community, what did you just enroll in? Did you say, or you just started doing something?
Sorry about that. So I didn't hear it properly.
Earlier on, when you were talking about the DoK, right? I pronounced that correctly, right? Yeah, you mentioned you've enrolled in it, or you were doing something for it. I can't remember what it was.
So I have just joined it, and I'm making some things that Bart is recommending us, like working on posts and like writing them and finding the data on Kubernetes. So the reports that I'm working on. So I don't know the further steps, but you can ask from Bart because he.
Sure.
Yeah. So like I said, I've learned a lot about the importance of making things clear, because sometimes things are really clear to me and then they're not to everybody else. So it's only natural, it creates confusion. And it's really helpful to have somebody like Bilal, because he's very open about giving feedback. And if you don't get feedback, you think, oh, everything's great, and then you get feedback when people start disappearing, and you're like, oh, that's feedback. So, because I didn't want you to leave, I want you to stay and keep learning, progress, and things like that. So I've learned the importance of breaking things down into sprints. And so what we're doing now, like I said, using the research report, the first task that they had to do was just to read it, find all the words and terms that they didn't know, and then go out and Google them, use Kubernetes documentation, start building definitions so they get a clear understanding of what's going on. Simultaneously, they're free to ask on Slack to each other, like, hey, what's this, what's that? And so getting this collective energy moving on these resources has helped them, I would say, grow as a unit. And then in addition, other people that are coming in, then they're able to help onboard and say, oh, don't worry, you can check here, you can check there. And people see that things are happening. And so what we're doing now is, like I said, every week is a different step. So first, you just read the report, find the words that you don't know. Then find the concept that you find most interesting from the report and create a post about it. So giving guidance about, like I said earlier, the AIDA, first get attention, interest, desire, and action. What's the action, call to action, download the report, jump in the community, ask a question, things like that. Teaching them how to interact with each other's content, whether it's on Twitter or LinkedIn, asking questions, continuing the conversation there further, because the algorithm is friendlier to that, whatever activity is happening. And so then from there, they're going to take that topic or another topic of their choice and specialize in it, because we are focusing our attention now on the different workloads that are making their way onto Kubernetes. Bilal and I interacted earlier about machine learning, because it's one of the newer workloads that we want to focus on, not just database and storage. So the next step is going to be to create, because a lot of folks are really interested in DevRel, and so DevRel obviously means creating content, like what Bilal already does on his own, does an amazing job. And so it's like, okay, now that you understand how to go look for information and get answers, you're going to take those skills, which you can use in our community or anywhere. Always insist on that. It's not just about us. All right? I want you to go be free and do whatever you want to do, but just apply that sort of methodology of that. If you do this, you're going to get results. And then also how to learn.
To Eddie Jaoude.
Let them finish the challenge first. But eventually we'll have to join forces. So no, I'm not worried about that. it's with the more the better. You know what I mean? Like that's why, in terms of community collaboration, it's like how can we find ways so that everybody wins? What are the things that you're doing that are ongoing that can be mixed and matched and overlap complementary skills and activities? And I've learned a ton from Eddie, by the way, over time, and I'm just super impressed with your output. It's insane.
Thanks so much.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And so like I said, next step is that they have to create a PowerPoint that's going to be for a 5-minute talk. And I'm also a public speaking coach, so to give them advice about how to give a talk. But some people don't want to give a talk; they can just turn it into a blog post. But once again, it's giving them on the way. They're building their personal brand. They're learning in public, showing people.
This is amazing.
That's it. Like, learn a skill.
Really organized. Yeah.
It sounds really organized. It may, but Bilal knows that sometimes the execution isn't so great.
No, this sounds really amazing, and I think Dean has a really good idea in terms of we should do some collaborations because we've got so many Kubernetes people in our community, and I can't help them. It's not my area of expertise. We have a lot of people creating content. We encourage them to create content about anything, and the way you've organised yours and you're taking them on that journey, I think is really important. So I think definitely we've got some overlap. I'd love to have a call. I'd love to have Sarah, because Sarah's planning like Eddie Hub for the next she's planning way ahead, like next 2 years. So there is, there might not be a collab on something now. She might say, hey, look, in 6 months we've got this coming up. Do you want to be involved? Yeah. But I think that's great. I love cross community collaboration. I do a lot with Francesco and Kunal, but I'd love to get your community into the mix as well. So I think we should try and set something up, and maybe put a small agenda together just to let's see what we can talk about. Again, I'd love to already learn quite a bit about what how we could learn from you, and then we could also see how we could do some collabs as well. I think would be great. I mean, even just starting off as a Twitter space and just having a discussion, maybe get some community leaders and maybe get some people who are participating in the community. So I'd love to, like, for example, get yourself, Francesco, and then I'd love to get like Dean and Bilal and maybe Krish, and then you could just see it from two different perspectives. Like Bilal's like, if he's really honest, like he said he is, love that. Like when people talk around the bush, you're like, are they trying to be polite? Do they not like it? Just say it. Like, I haven't got time. Just say it. Is it good? Is it bad? Tell me it. Yep. So I would love to have that. So maybe we go to Twitter space, and again, everyone gets a bit more exposure from it, and then still set up one with Sarah, like maybe more like more not more formal, but she'll take notes, and it'll be like less like a casual chat, and more like an actual like future thinking and stuff.
Sounds good to me.
I'll make a note of that because I will forget otherwise.
I will too.
So I'm recording a video, so I will go give it to you if you want to take notes for it.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm just going to make just go one line and just say organize Twitter space with all of you as well. Twitter space.
That's good. I like the way that Chris just speaks up as well. He doesn't really think about who's on the call or anything. He just speaks his mind, and he is usually right as well.
It's good just to have that honest discussion. I think that's just so important. Everyone benefits from it. As long as you're professional, but you can still disagree.
Yeah, that's it. And I know he's good because he always means well.
Yeah, exactly. Bilal, any last questions for us?
No, I have the questions that are covered. So I want to ask from Dean that do you have any question from Eddie or Bart?
Not really, because I've been super active recently, and they're probably sick of me more than anything. Just because I know, I've been working on something in the background to do with link-free, to do with the infrastructure as code thing. At the moment, we've got a separate repository that uses Pulumi, and it's set up to sort of deploy onto a DigitalOcean Kubernetes cluster. And it uses DigitalOcean spaces as well. We want to migrate that over and use Terraform with Civo Cloud. And because even though it is Kubernetes, a lot of the hard work's already done. But we've still got a bit of lifting to do when it comes to making sure it all works there properly. And we should look at doing some videos about that once it's ready as well.
Yeah, I'd love to do some Discord calls, like this, sharing streams, maybe some live streams. That would be it would be awesome.
Other than that, I know a lot of the DoK questions we had answered in the video that we did. I think it was only yesterday. But yeah, I've done so much work lately; it's hard to keep up. So thanks for having me. It's awesome to be a guest.
So Eddie, I talked with Bart that he wanted me to make a video about how you can create a video on YouTube, right? Yes. So I just want to ask your strategy so that other people can also know about it. But for the strategy for me that worked is that I was promoting the thing before the release. That's what the one strategy that worked for me really in the 60 Days Devo series especially. So what strategy did you work for you? So can you just
to get to grow my channel or my strategy to make the content?
No, to to grow your channel, or what you can say, to make the videos attractive, to increase the viewership.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. I don't think my videos do very well, so I'm probably not the best person to ask. And it's not me being humble. I genuinely think that sometimes I wonder what I need to do to make it do better. But in terms of, I used to spend more time on the video and less time on the thumbnail and title. I used literally, even if it's like a 5-minute video that took me 10 minutes to record, and I don't edit it, I have a full-time video editor, but let's just, but I'd spend literally 10 seconds on the thumbnail, 10 seconds on the title, and just throw it out there. But now Sarah's taking care of the thumbnail and the title, and she said, well, this doesn't make sense. Like, what does this mean? And with the thumbnail, she puts a lot of effort into trying to capture my reaction and trying to, so he's doing better. I think getting honest feedback, I think it's important. I don't ask for it often enough. Some people share their, I think in Francesco's community, 4Cs, people share a thumbnail and say, well, would you click on this or not? And I should do more of that, because if people say no, it's like, well, why? Is it too dark? Is it too bright? Is it too vague? Because sometimes people do vague stuff and it works well, and sometimes it doesn't. It also depends on how well people know you. So if I just said my worst day on the thumbnail, some people who really like me and know me will go, oh, what happened? Or my best day, whatever it is. But other people who don't know me and they're scrolling through YouTube, they're going to be like, who is this person? I don't care. Kind of just skip over it. So it's finding that balance. And I try and focus more on tutorial style titles and thumbnails. Recently, I've started experimenting a little bit with more clickbaity-ish or vague-ish thumbnails, but still keeping the title. How do I do, how to do this, how to create a full stack API in my title. And so I appear more in search. So my long tail growth is always better. So I don't spike at the beginning. I usually flatline, and then 6 months, a year later, it suddenly goes like this. So I need to do, from what I understand, you need to do both types of strategy. You need to do some videos that are more for now, and then some videos that are more long tail. And then some people, I think Mr. Beast and other people, they do both. They have the same video, but they do the title and the thumbnail for now, and then once it starts flatlining, they change it again for the long tail later on. So it's quite interesting. But I don't invest in as much time as I should on it, which I think is probably really bad of me, because I'm putting a lot of work in for the videos, but then it's not growing as fast as I'd like.
I think that's it's tough, because you're really excited when you finish it. You're like, I just want to get this out there, and and you work super hard, and it's just like when you organize an event. When you finish an event is when you start the next part, which is doing all the follow-up. So when you click end stream or whatever, that's not the end. Or when you put down the microphone or whatever, that's not the end. There's more work after that. It's the same thing with creating content. You're like, I just did this cool interview, I just want to put it out there. Now you got to edit, thumbnail, optimize hashtags in the description, all these different things. Oh well, my day just got longer.
The worst thing is that it doesn't matter how good it is if nobody actually watches it either. So.
And listen to the metrics, and be feedback obsessed. Find as many different ways to get feedback, because people have eyes to see things that yours don't. And it's something that I learned late, and also I was too sensitive to feedback, so then I took it really personally. It's like, no, you're asking for people's opinion, and so if they give it to you, just remember that they're trying to do it to help. But I think also trial and error and difference in art and science. Eddie, like you said, it's do I go with this thumbnail, do I go with that style, do I go with this, do I go with that? It's just constant learning and applying it. But I don't know. It's just been my experience.
All right. So, any closing remarks? Anything that?
I have one. I just do you know Marino Bilal?
Yeah.
Cupado. Yeah, you do. Because I just asked him. I said I've got a friend who's submitting a CFP. Any tips? And he's just written back. So I'm just going to read it out to you, and maybe it will share some ideas. So he said, one thing they learned from the Edinburgh Cupado. Have a look at the CFP page and see the existing submissions. I didn't realize you could do that, but have a look at that. Don't try and do duplicate sessions. So someone's talking about a topic that you're thinking about, don't do that. He recommends a 30-minute talk if you're new to public speaking. Don't go for the longer ones. And then ask yourself some questions like, what's the idea you're trying to convey? What's the problem areas we're addressing? What is the problem you're trying to solve, and why does it matter to the people listening? And what are the key learnings and takeaways? And is it? I don't think you have this problem, but it shouldn't be a marketing pitch, which yours isn't going to be. So that's fine. With slides, add context, but focus less on the slides, and don't have too much text on them. It's too distracting. And neutral tones for accessibility. But yeah, that's what he said. He replied really quickly, which is awesome. He's probably just waking up now, I think.
So I will definitely.
But hopefully that helps. And I can always copy and paste it and send it to you if I read that badly. I was just skipping every other line, but he wrote quite a big piece, so maybe I'll copy and paste it and send it to you.
No problem.
And that is a big. So anyone watching this video, or not anyone, Marino, if you are watching this video, it does go out. Big shout out to you for the quick reply. Really appreciate it. So yeah, I love it how the community supports each other, and that's my goal for everyone to support each other. When some people say, "Hey, Eddie," and I'm not really active in Eddie Hub, I'm active in this other community. Great, as long as you're active, that's all I care about. Seriously, just do it. So yeah.
All right. So anything or the closing?
Good.
Dean, from you?
Just thank you. Yeah.
No, nothing from me besides thank you for having me, and yeah, good to see everyone again.
Yeah.
All right. So we will close the session.
Awesome.
All right.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Look forward to geeking out with you all again soon, and I'll do the tweet. It'll probably go out in the next few hours.
Awesome.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
I'll tag you all.
Enjoy your weekend. Take care. Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.